I'm clearly just in fangirl mode here, but this song just made my whole week. It made my whole week. Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever applies to you. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Julia. I'm a contemporary singing specialist based in Australia, and today I cannot wait to share with you why I am absolutely obsessed with this Aurora song. There's a live performance of Aurora and Pomme performing this song together, and I swear to God, I must be at least half of the million views that it's already gained in a month, because it's nice, and I cannot wait to break down why I am in just sheer musical joy listening to this piece of music. So without further ado, this is Aurora, Pomme, Everything Matters.
I'm driving your car with you, sleeping in the seat next to me like a baby. You twist and you turn, you are traveling fast like a bird in a dream. Look at it go, look at it dance over the sky like a rocket. A love machine, a cinematic dream, so pure that it hurts when the beauty is lost in the speed. 'Cause everything matters to me. To me, to me, to me, to me, to me. You're a part of the dawn where the light comes from the dark. You're a part of the morning and everything matters. And we are an atom and a star. You're a part of the movement and everything matters. To me, to me, to me, to me.
I mean, how flipping gorgeous is that melody? The layers, even the meter they've chosen to write this song in, lyrically and music-wise, it just makes so much sense together. So what is it? What is it aside from this gorgeous, flipping, ethereal, almost haunting sounding melody? What is it aside from that is so beautiful about this song? Well, I gotta be real honest, that's one of the main things that grabbed my ears the moment Aurora does this stunning, flexible passage moving upwards. It's not just that the voice is flexible though, it's that I was expecting a minor key and I got treated with a harmonic minor tone in that flexible passage. So if we were just in a regular old natural minor key, the passage that she is singing, which is this section here.
I like a rocket, a love machine, a cinematic dream, so pure. Twist and you turn, you are traveling fast like a bird in a dream.
Gorgeous, right? Absolutely flipping gorgeous. I almost wasn't expecting this harmonic minor flavor to come on in there, but it just adds this little haunting element into the music. I mean, if you don't necessarily understand what I'm talking about here, our ears in the beginning of this song are getting ready for a regular old natural minor, which in G minor would sound like this. But we're not getting that. In this gorgeous, flexible phrase that she is moving through effortlessly, by the way, we'll touch on the vocals in a moment. We're just going to talk why this song just grabbed my ears and was like, you will listen and you will love it. We have this change. We have this change from a natural minor sound to a harmonic minor. And it just creates something that sounds so much more interesting. We hear the semitone as she's moving through this flexible pattern. And normally, if we're prepared for a regular old G natural minor, it wouldn't sound like this. It would sound like this, which is still gorgeous, but it's nowhere near as intriguing for the ear as suddenly having this little semitone moment. So that is one of the first things that leapt out at me with this song is not just that it had a harmonic minor tone added in there, create some interest, but that I wasn't expecting it because she was suddenly moving through this flexible pattern. And then she hits it and it feels, oh wow, I'm not in the key that I'm still in G minor, but I'm not in the natural minor that I thought I was in. I'm not in the natural minor anymore. This whole phrase with the harmonic minor sounds like this. And then there's another one where she goes up to this E flat above. But without this here, completely changes the feeling. So now I'm going to play it as if it was a natural minor. Doesn't quite have the same intrigue, the same mysterious feeling to it, does it? Doesn't quite sound the same. So that's one of the first things that leapt out at me. And in addition to that, in the beginning, we have this really cool musical idea where we continuously return to the same note on each second note that's being played. It sounds like an acoustic guitar. And even though we're moving through chords around the second note or every second note, we're returning to the same one. So let's go back and listen to what I mean, because this to me gives a feeling of constant momentum towards something that we start to expect, and then they change it right on the last little bit of that particular, I'm going to call it a motif, because it does seem to be represented not just in the guitar work, but also in what the vocals are doing with this stepping pattern of it moving up and around. And I love this because lyrically it makes so much sense. But we're gonna touch on this later. I'm clearly just in fangirl mode here, but this song just made my whole week. It made my whole week. So we can already hear that. Dun, 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 dun. This dun sound that we're returning to here.
I'm driving your car.
We have this repetition of returning to this same note. Feels like we're constantly traveling musically towards a destination that we're slowly becoming familiar with, but we're not necessarily acknowledging it the first time we listen to it. The whole thing is set up so well with this particular song, not just because, so it's a simple idea, but it's how it's integrated with the lyrics and also with what the melodic contour is like. I'm living for these flexible passages, and it starts. The seed is planted in my brain in the beginning of the instrumentation. That's how early this idea of this flexible movement for the melodic contour actually begins, not when Aurora starts singing. It's in the instrumentation. So clever. Da, 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 da.
I'm driving your car with you, sleeping in the seat next to me like a baby. You twist and you turn, you are traveling fast like a bird in a dream. Look at it go, look at it dance over the sky like a rocket. A love machine, a cinematic dream, so pure that it hurts when the beauty is lost in the speed. 'Cause everything matters to me. To me, to me, to me, to me, to me. You're a part of the dawn where the light comes from the dark. You're a part of the morning and everything matters.
Just absolutely gorgeous. Another thing in the instrumentation, I'm going to stop blabbering on about instrumentation, but I also wasn't expecting those triplet subdivisions. I wasn't really expecting what sounds closer to a trap beat to suddenly be a rhythm there, because yes, we're sort of getting set up in a particular meter in the beginning, but I do think that this trap beat contributes towards this feeling of momentum. And something that Aurora does really well is she engages in meters or subdivisions of meters that give you a feeling of it being like in a triple time, of there being this consistent movement through her songs. And I think it's really suitable for her voice style because her voice is really floaty. It draws on a lot of folk stylings, and there's an intimacy to the way that she sings that sits really well in this kind of arrangement where we do have this, we have this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you still have the consistent beat, of course, that's hitting the one, but it's the subdivision that to me, we're moving along we have this feeling of movement. Anyway, we need to keep going. I have been blabbering on about structure and tone for far too long. If you're still with me, subscribe. Okay. I'm mostly going to speak about vocal production now. So how she's achieving some of these sounds, why something might sound gorgeous the way that she set it up in contrast to what she's done in previous phrases, etc. But yeah, I just wanted to share just my love for this kind of simple arrangement and composition ideas that are so incredibly effective, and just the haunting beauty of this melody just ties in with lyrics so well. I'm just obsessed. I will not stop. I'm obsessed with this song. Okay, let's keep going.
I'm watching a storm turn into form in the clouds of the world like a bird. It dances and it twirls on top of the world. It is good and it hurts. Look at it go, look at it dance over the sky like a rocket. A teacher, a simulated dream, a cure for the hurt and the pleasure you feel is real. You're a part of the dawn where the light comes from the dark. You're a part of the morning and everything matters. So we are an atom and a star. You're a part of the movement and everything matters. To me, to me, to me, to me. To me, to me, to me, to me. Quelque part avant l'aube, quand la lumière veut nous voir.
Great. So I just paused us there to talk about range. So I haven't actually spoken much about Pomme's role in this. It could be pronounced correctly or not. I can't say. I just want to talk about her range because so far she's mostly been in a supporting vocal capacity underneath Aurora. Now, I have broken down Aurora's vocals before. We know that she's a light vocal type. She utilizes a lot of resonant placement that mimics a folk sound. So there was this moment earlier where her vocal intensity on the light, it hurts. Just gorgeous. Gorgeous, but there's a harshness to the resonance she put in there as well, that it really feels like she means it, that it hurts. But the capacity for Pomme utilizing her range in different, I guess it has different functions. So initially she is harmonizing below Aurora, and then suddenly in the next section, she's harmonizing above Aurora. So the demonstration of range there is actually pretty massive. And also she's comfortable harmonizing below and above Aurora, which if you are someone who hasn't necessarily had to do a lot of harmonizing, suddenly switching from bottom to top can feel a little bit uncomfortable if you're so used to sort of sitting in a particular harmonic spot. So that to me shows flexibility, not just of voice, but flexibility of her musical brain, that she feels comfortable just switching in and out. And the tone that she used also changes. And we heard it a little bit in this moment here. When she's sitting a little bit lower, we got a little bit of husk and some drag. And of course, in this moment, she's singing in French. So automatically, those articulators are going to be doing something different to if she is singing in English, because French pronunciation is different to English. You're going to have a lot more nasalized vowels, different kinds of setup with the tongue in order to achieve particular consonants that are just, they're pronounced differently. You can't read French the way you read English in the same way that your pronunciation for French may have to learn a few things before you can wind up making it sound anything close to authentic. I am appreciating that we're getting some tonal differences even with the language change here that's coming about because suddenly our articulators are having to do something differently. Okay, so that's on range. Let's very quickly speak to Aurora's vocal production. So she's got a light voice type, yes. She's able to utilize resonance in, I guess, a level of harshness depending on what her intensity is. But something that I kind of want to draw focus on with Aurora's singing is how careful she is with her prosody intention as she sings. So if you're not sure what prosody is, it's the pitch and inflection that you usually attribute to when you're speaking. When you're speaking, if we just speak monotone, it doesn't sound very engaging. And if we keep it even across the phrasing, it starts to sound really boring. But something that becomes part of our speech is the intention of different parts of the word, different levels of weight or percussive qualities to consonants in order to drive home an intention. Something as simple as placing the weight of one word slightly more completely changes the focus of what you're saying. It's the same with singing. So singing how you choose to phrase can give your listener a different perception of perhaps what even the lyric means just by focusing on one particular word or putting more of an accent, and by that I mean putting more emphasis musically or rhythmically or dynamically on a particular word. This can change what we prioritize in the sentence and how that sentence makes us feel, or how that phrase makes us feel, rather. And something that Aurora does really well is she has these quiet, intimate moments, but there's a life to them as she sings throughout the phrase. It swells on words that she finds important. It pulls back on things she wants to sound more delicate or vulnerable. There's storytelling in how she chooses to deliver her phrasing, not just the words. You could forget the words. It's how she's approaching her phrase that gives you a feeling. Combine them with the words, and suddenly it really does feel like the lyrics have that feeling. They have that meaning. So I think that she does that incredibly well. And it is something that I wanted to speak to because, yes, she's got a gorgeous, gorgeous soprano, soft, beautiful, pure tone to her vocals, but it's also highly expressive, and not in a way that just means she gets loud. She's not just getting loud. Her phrasing has some of the most delicate yet impactful means of expressing within them through either more percussive engagement of her articulators, through, yes, dynamic swells, but also pulling away dynamics, adding more breathiness, adding a little bit more vibrato or something that almost leans towards a yodel. These are just gorgeous elements of Aurora's vocal delivery. We're going to finish this, and then I suppose my transformation into a giant puddle of fangirl will be complete. So let's keep going. I'm almost through, and then I'm just going to listen to it again and again and again and again. I'm going to enjoy singing that little flexible passage. So much cool stuff's going on. And in the layering, that really synthy bass sound that came through, I feel like we're moving towards something monumental.
To me, to me, to me, to me. Quelque part avant l'aube, quand la lumière veut nous voir, quelque part dans le monde, un oiseau s'endort sans bruit. Toi et moi, dans la nuit, on trouvera quelque part où déposer les fleurs qu'on accueille. Part avant l'aube, quand la lumière veut nous voir, quelque part dans le monde, un oiseau s'endort sans bruit. Toi et moi, dans la nuit, on trouvera quelque part où déposer les fleurs qu'on accueille. Part avant l'aube, quand la lumière veut nous voir, quelque part dans le monde, un oiseau s'endort sans bruit. Toi et moi, dans la nuit, on trouvera quelque part où déposer les fleurs qu'on accueille. Promis, 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 promis.
Case closed. You're either with me or you're not. It is a utterly gorgeous song. Is it perfect all the time vocally? No, there are actually a few little moments when they were harmonizing. The intonation was a tiny bit clashy in the beginning, which can happen in a live performance, and it was fixed like immediately. Like they immediately synced up after that. It was absolutely gorgeous. And then following along through the French at the end, just absolutely stunning way to finish this song, because we've had all of this momentum. A build through our layering as well. I mentioned the synthy bass sound that came in when we were really starting to build. I haven't mentioned the piano. The piano was almost had a life of its own through this arrangement. It brought up the motif that was happening in the melody. It embellished around it. It added something that was almost romantic sounding at times into this arrangement. I truly think whoever put this together was just bang on, just absolutely bang on. This arrangement to me is gorgeous. I adore how they played with the layers. They pulled back in moments. It doesn't need to be loud all the time in order to be impactful. In fact, those moments of silence, the use of nothing, of space, in order to drop us into the next momentous, I guess, section of the song. So effective. This is why I am obsessed. This is why I'm just living for this song. So last little comment is actually on the lyrics themselves. How this ties in with the musical imagery that's being cultivated through this. It feels like a 6/8, and then we have those triplet subdivisions. It could also be a 12/4, and the meter feels like something. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it feels like. The lyrics that she is singing paint a very vivid picture of traveling somewhere. So you're in a car and someone's beside you and someone's sleeping and then they're dreaming. And you can almost envision the dream like leaving the car and traveling along. And then she starts to speak about things specific to the universe and everything that is happening around her. But the crux for me is that the line is, everything matters to me. Which, if you really consider what everything means in that context, from the person sleeping in the car next to her to all of these changes and what they mean for her, the mere concept of absolutely everything mattering, that is kind of overwhelming, at least in my head. The idea of every little moment, some of the imagery that she's conjuring with her lyrics, like really, even down to that detail, this is what is mattering to you, because I feel like that's true in the music. The music is making me feel like you're engaging in something that is so honest and vulnerable that it's almost scary at times. And that's where that momentous feeling almost becomes overwhelming in my stomach when I'm listening to this particular song. But that's what I mean by the music and the lyrics are tying together. You feel the moments that are meant to feel almost more dramatic, like that hurt line I highlighted earlier about how she gets a little bit more foolish. She leans into more of a belting quality, and there's a harshness to her resonance there. I truly feel like when she's saying, and it hurts, it's like it's so real that it hurts. And I believe it. I believe it. The arrangement, her delivery, the lyrics, this to me is a really well-written song, and I am probably going to be listening to it for a while, and I adore this flexible pattern that she is doing through there, which if you're having trouble singing it or you're trying to sing it, I'll slow it down for you now. So you've got, and she's moving through this resonance. Keep it forward, keep moving through your vowels. Something that Aurora does really, really well is she never locks up her vowel. All of her resonance and her power comes from her vowel itself. She's not using a consonant to try to force a louder dynamic. It exists within the vowel. So she is someone that we might describe as singing on the vowel, which actually harkens back to more of your traditional singing styles, but that would also make sense because she involves a lot of folk elements in her singing, or at least that's the feeling that I get when I listen to her music. She writes and she sings like someone who's listened to lots of things and has integrated into her technique things that are of interest to her, and that she has like a really, really good handle on, really good handle. Range, flawless. Finishing out some of those phrases, yeah, we got a little breathy at times. This doesn't matter. It adds to the overall feeling of the song. Anyways, that is where I'm going to leave it today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you did, please be sure to give it a like, click the subscribe button and the bell notification beside it for more just like this one. As usual, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you are staying healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye. Oh, this song is just gorgeous. The goosebumps. I have goosebumps, therefore I'm going to act like a turkey. Again. Oh. It's stunning. I'm definitely going to learn this song.